Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name's Adrian,
And I'm Alex.
and today we have a special guest. Special guest, introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time you're listening to this. I am Magnus. I go by he, they pronouns, and I don't know what I'm doing here.
At the very least, let you play some sort of role-playing game and maybe can talk about something like that.
Yeah, we just found Magnus on the streets and picked him up like, you're on the podcast now, and we didn't look back.
Basically.
That's how we get most of our guests.
Mom, I made it.
We got a white van that says free podcast, and we just pick people up on the street.
No, free dice.
Free dice.
We have to market.
Really catch more fish that way.
You know, okay, so speaking of catching fish, well, I don't know if this is speaking of catching fish. I went back to I will not list the name of this game shop in Fort Worth, but I don't know how many game shops in Fort Worth, so I might have just accidentally put that on blast. But I walked in again to see maybe it was just a weird vibe day and like nobody said anything because they just didn't say anything. Now I walked into this motherfucking game store again, did not have a single person say a word to me despite the fact that I was actually looking for something. And I saw 3 of the employees make full eye contact with me.
Huh.
Bitch, I'm sorry, you just had a stranger walk into your store and you're assuming, first of all, I'm not shoplifting anything because I'm looking around for something and like made eye contact and then I just walked out. You just didn't care? I don't know.
I literally saw a TikTok about this like an hour ago where she was like, I walked in and no one even talked to me and I wanted to buy something, but I couldn't buy anyone because none of the employees talked to me.
Are we saying it's because I'm a girl? Is it because I look like I'm a female presenting person? Is it because like
you know, or maybe, I like looking at the other side sometimes because I'm just like, what if they're like, wow, I want to ask if she knows what she's looking for. Well, once again, assuming, but I don't want to come off as this insensitive asshole who's going to mansplain every single game that we have.
Look,
I don't want to get canceled.
There's an easy way to say that. Hey, can I help you with anything? That's literally all anyone had to say. And I'm like, hey,
agree.
yeah, I do. I need baby's first set of dice because my brother's girlfriend just had a baby. Right? I just need like a pink set because, they think that's cute. Set of like chessex, and that's it. And nobody said a word to me, and I made eye contact with 3 people behind the counter.
I mean, I felt like, okay, Magnus, when we were in LA, we didn't get approached, did we?
No. There was also a tournament going on.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament going on, and the shop that we went to, it's not very uncommon that people go in there without knowing what they're looking for. Typically, if you're going to gaming shops, they're under the assumption that, oh, you know what you're looking for, you got this.
But it felt like very like there was a wall there because like when I was going to the counter, they were still doing some other thing, and I'm like, I'm waiting, and they're just like, I'll get to that person in a second.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe I'm just looking for a higher level of customer service than I received because shout out to Jennifer and Aaron, who we had on the podcast, Stormcrow, they at least say everybody there, everybody who works at least says hello when you walk through that door. And that maybe be that's all I wanted. But I made eye contact. Man, I came in by myself.
There is a game shop that's in San Diego that is very like welcoming. So they have like a multitude of tables. They even have like a back section with plenty of tables. And each time you walk in, it's kind of like Chili's. They're like, welcome to insert name of game shop here. And boom, you've already established that connection. So you don't feel awkward like, hey, where is insert game here or insert material here.
Yeah. There's nothing. It was disorganized, and it was a Saturday, so there was probably a tournament going on. I feel that, but you don't need everybody doing the tournament thing. It's fine. I'm off my soapbox. All I'm saying is, don't be a dick, and I require some customer service, just a little bit.
Please say hi to me.
Please say hi to me. I have to go pretend to like a baby.
Sometimes my reality needs to be confirmed. So, like, if you don't say hi, I don't know if I'm actually here or not.
Am I a part of my simulation right now, or am I actually in the world?
Some sort of distortion field every time a woman hits a game shop, apparently.
Don't do that. That's bad. That's hard.
I am my own Sims bug.
So there's a derailment for today already.
It's not going to be the last. All right, Magnus, tell me about how many games are you running right now, or playing in and running? How about that? Those two numbers.
I am just in 2. Both of them unexpected. I am in one, and I am running another campaign.
Is it an oops, I DM'd? Oops, I started this game. Oops, like...
oops, I DM'd, and oops, I got roped into this campaign. The first one is because I was running a home game with some of my friends, and I made this dungeon. And I was like, I have no idea if this is going to be way too hard. So, hey, random strangers on the internet that I met a week ago, can I run this dungeon with you guys? And you guys can tell me how it is. If I kill you all, then I need to like dial it back. If you guys all survive, then, we'll go from there. And it was a very fun dungeon, and maybe it lasted multiple nights because that dungeon crawl, I did I used Encounter Plus for my virtual tabletop, and I let them move throughout the thing. And despite how dangerous this was, of course, as every D&D party does, they wanted to split the party every single time. And so they were always alone whenever they found something. And they finally survived through all the traps, barely. And I gave the monologue at the end. I was like, that's where we end. And collectively, they were like, it can't end there. There needs to be something more. So I was like, okay, cool. I made up another short monologue, and I told them that you all wake up in different points of your lives, and you would be convinced that this was all just a terrible nightmare, if not for the remnants of what you just went through. One of the characters was still soaking wet for whenever he got sucked into a whirlpool. Another one's hands still had burning singe marks from when they accidentally lit the rope that they were climbing on fire. Things like that. And
Alex and I both made a very similar face. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so they fell down a pit trap, and the only way up is through a oiled and greased rope. And they were carrying a torch in their hand, and I let them know, hey, this is oiled and greased rope. And they're like, nah, I got this. I was like, if you say so.
Do you even science, bro? Like oil and grease, and you're like, yes, I should definitely hold this flame next to this.
To be fair, I did throw a lot of other things at them, so they might have forgot that detail as soon as, because it wasn't necessarily a pitfall trap where it was hidden. What had happened is that they had walked in, the floor had moved into the wall to the side, and as they were still in this little pitfall, the wall was coming back into close to crush them.
Okay.
So they might have been a little bit distracted.
So you might have like forced them to make a choice that they later then regretted, which I am learning is quality DMing.
Absolutely. I think that whenever you're taking people through dungeons and adventures, it's important to throw a lot of little things at them, because if you put yourself into that situation, adrenaline is running, you are paying attention to all these different things. Sometimes you're going to forget a couple. I forget a couple
That's
things
true.
when I'm doing one thing.
Yes, I feel that 100%. I sometimes forget I'm making a podcast while I'm making the podcast. This is just a nice, relaxing conversation between Alex and somebody else, and not including me at all.
I remember having that conversation. Like, yeah, I'm just here like enjoying the ride. Oh, I actually interact with this podcast. Oh no. Now I've started to remember that I am in the podcast, and then so when I listen to other podcasts, I try to throw my 2 cents in, and nobody responds to me. It's just me talking to myself in my car. No.
Wow. How dare they?
I know, the audacity.
Well, that's going to be the future of podcast, where you can. It's going to be AIs of the two people. There's going to be a subject matter, and you're going to be able to actually talk to them.
I hate it here. No, that's how all of this starts, right? That's how we all move permanently on the internet, and we're living in trailer houses that are stacked up upon each other, and then we start Ready Player One.
Mm-hmm.
Our avatars are super cool, while we slowly but surely just sit in our chair and running around, degraded to old people.
See? I've already got a Bluetooth chair that comes out with sound and it rocks. I'm halfway there. I just need like a haptic vest and a VR set. You'll never see me again. It's crazy some of the VR things that are there.
Yeah.
My friend has a VR system where he sits in his room and he plays a GameCube on like an old school TV.
Wait, what? Wait, so like he's in VR in a chair playing an
like
old
on a bed, and the room is all set up. You know, there's like a dresser, there's a TV on the dresser, there's a closet.
So in his virtual reality, in his virtual reality space, he is sitting in a chair playing a game that he could literally play in the real world, but he's playing it through virtual reality.
Listen,
this what
Super
I'm
Mario
hearing?
Strikers. Have you tried to look on how to get Super Mario Strikers? It's very hard.
Really? Maybe I should look into that.
And it's GameCube. That's going to be expensive. Some controllers, a memory card.
Look, all I'm saying is that is this what we have already come? We've already gotten to this point. It is 2022, and we've already gotten to the point where we're playing virtual reality.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, there's VR workspaces too. So like, you'll go into VR, you'll put on, and you'll sit at a desk. The desk will have a keyboard that can go on the internet and has like Office and Notepad, so you are not distracted by the outside world.
Our dystopian future is here.
I'm done. I'm done.
Listen, do you know how much DMing you get with that if they put like D&D? Actually, they probably do have D&D on there, but like all the virtual tabletop and map making stuff.
I'm done.
Speaking
of D&D, no. Speaking of D&D Beyond, didn't D&D Beyond just get it bought by Hasbro?
Yes, which is Wizards of the Coast. I think D&D Beyond has just had access to the licensure, which I always thought that Wizards of the Coast already owned
D&D Beyond.
D&D
Right.
Beyond. Everybody was so confused with that. I was like,
Wait, what? It wasn't already like this?
So people are at least hoping that D&D Beyond will soon come up with its own virtual tabletop.
Maybe. What do you got?
I can't hate that because I hate Roll20. Like I'm okay with that. There's something about Roll20 that is very overwhelming, and I do not like it. I don't think it's aesthetic. I avoid it whenever I can.
It looks a little too difficult for what it offers. If I'm going to go for a difficult, I will go to other virtual tabletops. I am delaying and causing space here as I try to remember the one that I like.
Is it Taras?
Fantasy Grounds.
Oh, okay.
Fantasy Grounds. But even then, when I don't want that to be complicated, there's one called Encounter Plus, and that's what I use to run a lot of my combats for both in person and online, because if I'm in person, I can just cast it onto the screen, and as a DM, I can see everything on my iPad, and it'll be hidden for all my players. And if I'm doing it for PC, it'll give you a host link for like a little client website where your players can actually drag and drop and like interact with the entire thing. And that's only $25 a year.
Okay, so like you could get your players to play it too. I mean, to pay into it, start that professional career soon, early.
Oh, I don't ask my players to do that. I just spend a lot of money on them that I don't tell them that I do.
Hey, don't look at me. Me buying commission art every time I have a new long-term game.
Yeah, Adrian. For our listeners here, and for a point of vulnerability, what is the most money that you spent on a campaign?
What a good question.
You want to talk like in one go? How
Is
much?
Easier.
Hold up, I'm gonna look up my PayPal payments real quick. I think it's upwards of $500 or $300, and it was just on one piece of commissioned art.
Yeah, so Adrian makes that easy for him to like spend some big money because he actually pays an artist their actual livable wage and like respects their time. So I could see where Adrian, but it's not. I mean, I don't know.
Lee.
It's not just for you. Look, yeah. I love Lee more than life itself sometimes, so I'm not gonna fight that one. But at the end of the day, that's also for you too. So I guess it's not just 100%.
That's why I put my face on the commission piece, because like I'm spending this much, my face is gonna be there. Okay?
You age your face.
I love y'all, but also I care about myself too. So this is self-love as well.
Is it like the current Adrian like hair stage as well, or is it like an idealized version of Adrian?
Well, a little idealized because I think it has a streak of gray. It's getting there. It's not as streaky yet, but it's getting there, dude. I said, Reed Richards me, please.
My gray sprouts right in the back. It's in the back, like crown of my head that my hairstylist had the audacity to be like, we're just going to temporary color that.
In my old age, I haven't gotten any gray hair, so darn.
What is 504 euros?
504 euros is what?
$532 I gave.
14 yards. I don't know. I live in America.
In one go. But then I have like stuff. I commissioned music that's 75. I commissioned another artist that's an 85. I donated because I borrowed someone's like TTRPG, gave them $40. Let's see, 210 for Coming Together Naturally. That's just I paid Henry to come to America 1,748 crowns, which comes out to $210.
Oh,
that's still D&D though.
I still.
Well, the crowns were 1,000, but in normal Monopoly money, it's 210. Money's fake for everybody, just FYI.
I am 100% on that this week, that everything we do is made up. Nothing we do matters. There's no reason we need to have jobs. There's no reason we need to be paying for rent. There's zero reason we should be doing any of these things for money.
Well, absolutely. Speaking of fake money.
How's your NFT?
An NFT anyway. Speaking of NFTs.
Fuck NFTs. All my homies hate NFTs.
Isn't that just art? Like, isn't that just regular art? Isn't that what we're just paying for normally?
No, it shouldn't. It's bad for the environment.
That too. But I always laugh at people whenever they lose money on NFTs, because like I could understand if you were doing stocks. But this is like a random like picture.
Fake money. It's like real fake money.
But yeah, going back to actual like what I was talking about with fake money, players will do almost anything if you bribe them with like in-game gold, platinum items. It's crazy.
What's the wildest story you have that's connected to that, dude?
Just for like a consistent thing, I'd be like, hey, yo, and not just money, but just like rewards in game. Like, yo, if you bring pizza to our sessions, you get inspiration.
That's pretty good.
So this guy is doling out $20 a week just to re-roll a die once.
So good. That's so good.
But then other people are like, yo, you know, if you have like an artist in the party, they're like, hey, if you give me like 50 gold, I'll like draw like scenes from each episode. It's like, is this how communism started? Not communism, what, capitalism?
Yes. We have a friend, Lindsay, who did all of the art for Tacos and Tabletops for in-game items. So her real life job is to do graphic design. And she did all of this graphic design for free for in-game magic items.
I was there when the items were being presented, and I'm like, wow, that's a powerful spell. That's like a counter spell every round. And then like, and Justin's like, yeah, maybe I should nerf it. So I like devalued her item in front of her. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
I hate nerfing after I give somebody something, so I just make everything harder.
I mean, isn't that the same thing though? But it doesn't feel as bad. You're right. It doesn't feel as bad.
Exactly. It's like, you know, I don't know what it's like, but it's like something. Everything's like something.
If you really think about it, it's like something. That's the title of this episode.
I'll go ahead and think of something, and I'll send you the voice clip, and you can just put it in there.
You know when it sounds off, it's perfect.
You know, it's kind of like when you do this.
Yeah. Editing Adrian's gonna have fun.
I love editing Adrian. Editing Adrian's my favorite.
Why?
Right now I've been editing this, then another podcast, and I'm working on creating scripts for another podcast, and I don't know what I'm getting myself into.
This is why you love editing Adrian, because we have to remind him while he's in the middle of all this work that like we love editing Adrian.
I thought it was gonna be because Adrian like changes his volume like after every 2 sentences.
It sucks.
He does the singing in the rain thing where she's like talking to the microphone on her like hand. She goes, and then it's quiet, and then it's loud, and then it's quiet.
Yeah, when I'm in Halfblood Happy Hour, sometimes when I'm bored and I'm thinking what to say, I'll like lean back and I'll just like rock in my chair and like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. It just sounds off, and I was like, how else am I supposed to think?
Yeah, I had to get after myself. I yell at myself while I'm editing, where I'm just like, I lean back and get relaxed, and I'm like, God damn it, and just fucking up the fucking volume right there. It's stupid. Just sit up straight. Just freaking stay in the same position, you idiot.
Hey. 3 nice things about yourself.
I am a great DM. I did just kill my first player.
Ooh.
And I'm going for 2. Let's see. Let's see if I can knock it out of the park. And then I am a very caring soul. And why did I say creative?
You did not say creative.
I said caring soul.
You said caring.
Oh yeah.
You're a good DM. You're caring. You're creative.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Caring is a lot like creative if you don't think about it. They both start with C's, first of all, and they're adjectives.
These magnisms.
I'm gonna go with
I feel like we're
magnetisms.
close to a slur, so let's not do that.
I know. I'm gonna go with magnetisms. I like that because it means
I
I'm
feel like that
attractive.
the
Can you put in a rim shot after that?
Adrian, for the first time ever, put in sound effects. And either way, if I do or do not put it in, it'll still be comedic gold.
So, two accidental podcasts, or 2 accidental games, not podcasts. Don't do that. Adrian's in 2 accidental podcasts. Magnus is in 2 accidental games. How did you get into RPGs?
To be honest, before I
No.
played Dungeons and
Tell us
Dragons
a
for the
lie.
first time, okay, I actually love Dungeons and Dragons straight out the womb. I came out of the womb, the doctor hit me, and I said, roll for initiative. It's as simple as that. No. I played my first game of D&D in 2013, and up until that point, I hated it. I thought it was the stupidest game ever. How are you going to sit around with a bunch of shiny rocks and play pretend with your friends? We grew out of that. There are better things to do in life. And I was at my friend's house, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna start playing D&D." I was like, I'm gonna go home. I opened the door. It's hailing. I didn't drive at the time, so I was gonna have to walk home. But I'm not gonna walk in the hail. So I just sat there. I'm like, well, crazy thought. You can always play. It's like, fine. Just because there's literally no other choice, and I'm just gonna sit. The only thing worse than you guys playing pretend is me watching you guys play pretend. And 2 hours later, I was hooked. And this was 3.5, just so everybody knows. I was hooked. I was watching TV shows and animes, being like, how would I build this person as a D&D character? To Mythweavers and just I was watching Once Upon a Time at the time. So I was making full character sheets for everybody and what they would do. Here are some flaws. Da 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 da. Also, I was watching One Piece for the first time going through. So I was like, okay, cool. How are we gonna make all these other characters?
Nice.
And that is how I got into D&D, which I got adopted into a nerd family. And it's funny on my family. So I'm a dancer, and my parents met because they were rivals on different dance crews. I know, so like 70s, right?
Are
70s,
you in an
80s.
anime? Are you in a rom-com? What?
Are you human?
I'm a main character, thank you.
No, he's a dancer. He just said.
And the family that I got adopted into, that they kind of just took me and just like, here, you're part of us now. They met on a blind date, but my mom always tells the story that the way she knew that my dad was the one was when the first time that she watched him DM.
One day. One day. That's the dream.
That's so cute.
Let's go.
I need your parents on this podcast right now. I'm done. You need to call them in. I am phoning a friend right now. I need to hear this whole story. Not that you're not going to tell a good story. Not at all, because I respect.
My mom, you would love. She's a little sweet old woman, blue hair teacher. She's great.
I am not your mom. I am not your mom. Just so the listener, dear listener at home, I, despite my age, am not Magnus's mom.
You could be my mom. What are you, like 29? 28?
Okay, no, hold on. We're not gonna play that game either.
Listen, life is a game. I just maxed out my charisma. But yeah, that's how I got into D&D and everything. I learned how to DM because nobody else wanted to DM, and I was like, I want to play all the time now. And I DM'd for all of my other friends who were all DMs, and they just broke the game all the time. It was not nice. And that's when I learned to be mean. It was also in that same arc. I describe my life as arcs because I am in an anime and I am the main character, that I stopped feeling bad about killing player characters.
So what was your first player character death?
First player character that died kept poking at the big bad who didn't know they were the big bad. I like, introducing main villains at the beginning, and this was a literal god, and just would not keep poking at him no matter what warning signs I put. And I was like, okay, roll for initiative. Make a save. Okay, what's the DC? 30. But I'm a level 1 wizard. Damn. I know that. You should have known that. And so every time I go ahead and DM, I always let people know I will never kill your character, ever. However, you will kill your character.
That's right. Put the blame back on the player, which is where it should belong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's blame the victim. I'm just kidding. Johnny Depp, I believe you.
Anyway, that's all the time we have today, right?
You can find Alex's Twitter at Eloquent Mime.
Adrian is canceled again.
Once again, send that hate over specifically to all of our social media, and oh no, I guess we'll have a whole bunch of commenters on our medias.
Oh no, I hate engagement.
Oh no, not the engagement.
On social media, you can go ahead and just let them know, does pineapple go on pizza? Anyway.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yes.
See?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
See, Alex,
and jalapenos.
Exactly. Pineapples. I say this all the time. See, Alex, you and I could be great friends and just cause chaos in Adrian's life.
Please
we are already best friends. It's too late. It's already happened.
Exactly.
Adrian, you
really
bring
cool
me my best friends.
Sabrina,
Sabrina,
Magnus. Yeah. It's all game over if y'all play in a campaign with me, because I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I don't want to die anymore. I don't want to die.
Have you ever had me as a player character?
No, just as a DM.
Yeah. So you don't know how I am.
No, but I know how you are, as a person. You like to poke the bear sometimes, or question things. What was that one? What are we having a conversation? It's not I'm with you on the finger thing, the counting down to 5. Don't know how Sabrina does this, which is start from the thumb and then go in order all the way to the pinky, versus thumb, then pinky, then keep going towards the thumb again. Is that what you do?
How does your thumb not feel claustrophobic?
What?
Because I can't close my pinky. I broke my pinky.
To.
No, I can't. I can't even bend. I can't bend it at all. It has to come down with the ring finger.
Oh, you broke it.
Okay, you have an excuse.
Dear listener, we are counting down with our fingers on our video chat, and I can count down with my thumb, then my pointy finger, and then my middle finger. But I cannot do the opposite way because that's how this hand. I can do that, but that hurts. So I can't hold the 3 up. I can't do it there either. I broke both of them. Different instances. One in 3rd grade, one as an adult when I slapped somebody in the ass so hard it broke my own finger. We live in Texas where people in the male gender have the big ass fucking wallets that would traditionally fit bills that are completely open, or a checkbook or whatever. And I go to slap him because he slapped me first, obviously just returning. And instead of hitting a fleshy part of the body, I hit that big medallion on his fucking wallet.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, broke my own fucking finger.
Good old Texas.
It'd be fine.
Yeah.
It'd be fine.
Okay, I have a question that's to Alex to kind of ask Magnus. Because I don't know anything about Once Upon a Time.
Oh.
So what character are you interested in knowing what Magnus statted out?
Oh, do you have that list if I asked a question?
Maybe.
Or if you could remember it?
Hold on.
I honestly would just really want to know the evil queen, because I feel like there's 1,000 different ways you could go with her. And if you're talking about beginning of the seasons, or if you're going at the end of seasons, so is it when she's okay and good? What is Regina?
I think I statted her out as a sorcerer
Okay.
with a poisoner feat,
So that
and
that checks out. Even see, Adrian, Regina is the evil queen, so even not knowing once upon a time, you would
yeah,
still know.
I didn't do anything.
it did give me watching Once Upon a Time and kind of statting out characters and breaking them down. Did give me a little bit more of like a worldview on how each stat can kind of be played out, especially with charisma, because one of my favorite characters was Mr. Gold. Loved him so much, but base thing, Mr. Gold is Rumpelstiltskin,
Yes.
and in the real world, he is a lawyer, and because he makes all these contracts and everything, and everybody pictures whenever they have high charisma players or characters that they are these attractive or personable people, but Mr. Gold really isn't that. Everybody tends to not like him, they don't trust him, but he just knows what to say in the right moment. Not to get you to like him, but just to get you to do what he says. And that's why I always tell people there's a very important distinction of when you're trying to use persuasion and intimidation. Because whenever I was telling people and letting them go free on whatever they wanted to do, they would always like, yeah, I intimidate the person because every character who wants to be strong and powerful, they want to intimidate. But I always point them, you see, right here at the bottom of intimidation, they don't like you after you do so. And that was a very common thing as after every single interaction that Mr. Gold had, nobody truly actually liked him. I was like, this is very nice to do. I gave him a low constitution because he cannot walk properly, a low strength, a high intelligence, a high wisdom, because he was able to have that foresight. I did make him a wizard for his storytime persona. I think I made him some sort of divination wizard too, because he always just had the ability just to know what was going on and what was going to happen. And I miss doing that.
Well, I mean, that's even like a really good practice for new DMs or for new players or people who want to just explore the game a little bit deeper is to start statting out some of your favorite characters. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I mean, we play the fucking filter on Instagram and TikTok and like, oh, does this
Mm-hmm.
really match? But you could honestly start doing that for yourself. And I also I understand Robert Carlyle is not super attractive, but for whatever reason, he checks that box off for me. And I don't know if I just watched like the full Monty at an impressionable age because that's my I just remember watching that in the 90s and being like, that's the man for me,
Mm-hmm.
is Mr. Gold.
I can understand that. And it's weird because like I was like, okay, cool, yeah. Mr. Gold, yeah. And then they brought in Captain Hook. I was like, yeah. And then people are like, how do you listen? I don't make the rules here.
I no, you're right. You're right. I claim the
Uh,
David Bowie card, and then that's my only explanation. Like why I am attracted to what I'm attracted. It's because it started with David Bowie in third grade, one day before soccer practice, and then that just mixed everything up for the rest of my life.
but as you were saying, it is really good practice for newer DMs. Another practice that I would do is that I did this with One Piece when I was going through because I tell people all the time, One Piece is just a D&D campaign. The reason why Zoro gets lost is because Zoro is late to sessions or he just doesn't show up sometimes. This, that, and the other. But what I did as I was going through it, I would pause the episode and I would like narrate what's going on and the scene around, and I would pretend, okay, I want to go ahead and punch that guy and go ahead and narrate that out. I would, because unfortunately the episode isn't going to listen to what I say. I would make up the role saying that if it succeeded, if it failed, and like, okay, you succeed, and this happens, and you describe afterwards. That way people can kind of get into describing not only the effect of just saying you hit, but how they hit, where they hit, this, that, and the other.
Nice. I like that a
I
lot.
have never seen One Piece, so yes, that sounds amazing.
It's okay, I'll watch it for you.
And Magnus will.
I'm watching it for the third time.
Isn't it? It's super long too, right?
Yes, it is my comfort anime.
That's fine. Look, you have your comfort anime. I'm never going to take that away from you.
Well, you couldn't.
Maybe I could. If I'm your blue-haired teacher mother, I could. No.
Adrian, at that point, can you add the dun dun dun?
Yes, as soon as this train stops freaking honking, dude.
Do trains honk?
Yes. What? Yes. Oh yeah, you live in like a part of the yes. Well,
would you call it honking?
Whistle or horn.
They like choo choo.
Yeah,
Everybody go ahead and go to the Twitters and different social medias and what do trains do whenever they go ahead and make their sound? Do they honk?
What is the
Let
action
us know
called?
in the comment below.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite thing about languages is the different sounds animals make in different languages.
There's a difference?
There is a difference. Not everybody for dogs says woof woof. I have to go look it up, but I think I'm not going to butcher this. I'm going to look it up before I say it out loud.
All right, Adrian, put in the Jeopardy theme song right here. Now, Adrian's not going to do it. Just imagine it, listener.
Yeah. Onomatopoeias and different sounds. Thank you. Google. It's awoof, awoof, right? How do you say it?
Awoof?
It's OUAF, right? Where you are?
Listen, you're the one bringing this information. I have no idea.
Okay, WOUAF, right?
Woof.
Okay.
Wow.
I just looked up how to say wolf in Spanish, and it's gua.
See? It's
Guau?
not in Welcome to Dungeons and Degrees, a onomatopoeia podcast. Armenian is half.
Interesting.
And then there you go.
What do pigs say in Germany?
Is that a joke? Is it a
No.
joke? Are you asking for
No, I'm asking.
Is this a Nazi joke? Is this a fascist joke?
I'm honestly curious because I know in America they say you're under arrest.
Oh no, it's an ACAB joke.
Oh no. All the police listeners out here that are listening to D&D podcasts have been alienated now. Woe is me.
Alex said, "Is this a joke?" I was like, "How'd you know?"
Because I'm one with the puns. I'm one.
Oink in Spanish is gruñir.
See? What do we do? I mean, I guess it's what you hear in your own language, and everyone thinks differently in different languages. And
how do they sing Old MacDonald?
They don't, probably. There's probably not an Old MacDonald.
Before we end, I want to ask about Halfblood Happy Hour.
Okay.
Tell me. I know I have to get away from
the
pig stuff before we get too
Magnus,
political.
you're my favorite. You're like, okay, yeah, what do you want? I'm not fucking telling you shit.
Tell me about your experience with Noah as the DM and the party you're in.
Okay. So it actually started as Noah was kind of doing this one shot to experiment with this new race that they had created on D&D Beyond, which is just very human for demigods. And it was a level 7 one shot that Noah likes to pick at our feelings a lot. So even though this is a one shot, they had no problem making it very traumatic and making some of the players cry. And once again, Noah got a hold of all of us and was like, hey, what would you say about making this a podcast? And we were like, down. I was like, I don't have a life, so sure, why not? So I play Marcus. Marcus is a blackjack casino dealer from the early 1900s. He was trapped slash kidnapped and kind of not exactly kidnapped where he was just kept there the entire time. He just wasn't allowed to leave. Very like Beauty and the Beast style. He just spent the entire time being a blackjack dealer as time passed. And now he has made his way into Camp Half-Blood, where he's kind of adapting to the new scenario, coming to terms that he is half human, half god, and it's starting to get a little wild for him because there are people doing all these other things that he would have never thought imagined possible. There are people opening rifts into the earth. There's Pegasus. There's actual deities in front of him that he can talk to, along with the party. I will say, disclaimer, Half-Blood Happy Hour does not condone underage drinking, but we do have Jackson. Jackson is one of the first friends that Marcus had made. He's a son of Hades and is way of the drunken monk, but unfortunately he does have a drinking problem. He is accompanied by his twin sister, who he doesn't exactly have the best relationship with, and try as she might, she doesn't really get any closer to him, for now at least. Who knows how the future may appear? I don't. I don't have that ability. Accompanied, the last two of the party is a daughter of Ares, Barbarian, played by our friend Lucy. The cabin of Ares are just a whole bunch of like rowdy, fun-loving people, but their version of fun is like hurting each other. So it's like a whole bunch of like if any of y'all had older, younger siblings, you fight with them, but they fight with axes, swords, etc., etc., etc. And lastly, we have Diego, who we kind of coin as our residential sad boy. He tries very hard. He is a druid, and I actually like whenever Noah describes how Diego kind of wild shapes, because Diego will like disintegrate almost into like water and then expand, and then when he comes back together, he'll come into the animal form. The entire first part is fun because we're just trying to, be kids at camp and win some prizes, and then hell breaks loose, and it's just been a lot of fun. We At this point in time, I think we've released episode 10, and we're at over 2,000 downloads, so it makes me happy. I don't have any frame of reference on like how good that is, but
it's pretty good.
Bitch,
cool.
You're doing a good job. Bitch, you're doing a good job.
I'm just showing up and talking. It's really Noah, Isak, and Zach who have been putting a lot of work behind the scenes, getting us onto all the different podcast sites, spending plenty of hours editing. Some of the episodes we've had technical difficulties, so it's funny because we'll record the Discord call, just a screen, and if somebody messes up, they have to go. They, meaning me, will have to go into the call and watch the video and kind of just repeat what they've been saying as a new clip. And I'm just like, there are 2 episodes that I had to record 3 separate times, so I know those episodes very well.
That's awesome. I am one of those listeners. I've been following along. Also, as y'all are kids, I am very angry at all of y'all at all times.
Whoa. Marcus hasn't done much.
I know, but that's also on the list. Marcus hasn't done much. I'm angry.
Is that also based off of Percy Jackson?
Based off of, but not close enough
right,
to get us sued.
No.
To get sued, yeah.
Adjacent. Percy Jackson adjacent.
Exactly. I make the joke all the time that Marcus is having a completely separate experience at camp because Marcus is like, ooh, games and rides and fun. Diego's like, huh, my siblings and my girlfriend hasn't come back from a quest.
They're probably dead. I am
Exactly.
sad.
Then you have Andromeda played by Gabby, who is like, my brother doesn't love me. You have Jackson, who's like, my dad doesn't love me. And then you have Marcus, who's just like, hey, everything's fine. I'm at camp.
I'm having a good time.
So there's not much for Marcus to do other than, provide some like nice words of wisdom when he can and when he's like able to grasp what's going on.
I'm ready for the giant story arc for him because it's going to come hard and come fast.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
There's been some dreams and some like nightmares that he's just like, they're just dreams. And
This
even though
is fine.
people are like, hey, I've been having similar dreams. Nah.
What a teenager move. Be like, nah, it's fine. This is fine.
Every day's like day when you're running from your problems.
No, don't do that.
All right. Any other questions? Alex.
I know. Magnus, you're a delight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Magnus, any questions for us?
When do I get paid?
All right, then. You don't get to plug now.
I saw my sound just go into the red with that. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm used to this now. All right. Where can they find you, Magnus?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Legato Gelato 865. I would sing the song, but you guys would get copyrighted.
We wish. We wish we were that big.
Okay, then. Once again, it's Legato Gelato. And then I'll stop.
I think as long as it's short enough, I think we're okay.
I think it's under 10 seconds, isn't it?
Right. I think so. I mean, that's how I think, what was it?
15
Freaking
seconds.
Vine was getting away with it with their 7-second clips or something.
But yeah, you can find me at Legato Gelato 865 on Twitter and Instagram. You can listen to us wherever you get podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, at Halfblood Happy Hour. And we're also on TikTok and Instagram at Halfblood Happy Hour.
All right, Alex.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us for another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. Be sure to share us wherever pods are cast. Go rate us on 5 stars on now Spotify. That would be great. I don't know, 5 stars, whatever it is. 4 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars.
It's 5 stars. I just did it this morning.
I don't like when it yells at you. You're like, you've never listened to this podcast. Well, so just I listen to all my friends' podcasts.
I would give it 4 stars because this podcast already has Alex.
And Alex is a star.
I don't know about this, y'all. Adrian, I need you to quit bringing friends that are just like super nice to me and like supportive and like, I don't know.
You should be on the Discord. They're very supportive.
But then I'm grandma on the Discord. Like,
hell yeah, dude. Get me out of here.
All right, send me those details. I'll come grandma it up, and then I'll make old people jokes that I gotta be bed at 9 o'clock.
You will hear a lot of "Shut up, Magnus."
I'm looking forward to it. Now that I've completely derailed, rate us 5 stars on all the podcasts. You can find us wherever pods are cast. So if your friend is using Spotify and you're using Apple Podcasts, guess what? You can find us there. Thank you. If you have a little more coin in your pocket and you want to support a small, growing podcast and get in on the ground level, go find us on Patreon. We've got some goodies for you. You can also find us wherever social media you are on. With the summer vacation coming up, there's going to be more TikTok content. And I'm saying that right now because I've got it planned out and I'm definitely going to do it. And if we come to this episode and it's not there, Adrian can absolutely go to Dallas and punch me right in the nose.
We just record more. It's fine. We don't have to punch people in the nose.
No, I'm getting that's the threat of violence will get it done. And I've put it out in the universe. Our patron saint Carlos will allow me and give me strength to get through this tough time.
After you ditch Roll 20. Where he works.
You know what? Just because I don't like the service doesn't mean that it's not useful for other people. It is. I didn't say don't use it. I just said I didn't like it.
Fair enough. All right.
Adrian, where can we find you?
Being an old man everywhere. I forget. I think on the Tic Tacs, I'm a 2demand2.
You're not Dan Cruz?
Isn't it underscore 2demand2?
No.
Okay.
It shouldn't be. Maybe. Now I'm questioning my own existence. I don't really have too much. I have Dungeons and Degrees, and that's mainly where I try to post, but also I hate social media, so it's hard for me to grow my podcast because it's hard for me to do those things. I literally put up a picture every 4 months on Instagram, and I put a Facebook post every 2 years, so literally this podcast is for me so I can listen to myself. But if you find me, fucking add me, dude. I love all y'all. Y'all are great. I'm just bad at the social media game.
It's a lot. We've been here for a while, though. Look, I've been here on the social media since 2006. That's a long fucking time to have my life on the internet.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Magnus.
Go have some fun.
No.
No.